the way.
We wanted men.
I have spoken.
Welcome to episode 106 of the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. I love watching Jason's face when I say that. It's your favorite Star Wars podcast, or at least I like to believe we are. I'm Glenn, your host, and with me as always is Jason. Jason, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in a good mood
Awesome.
because I went to the Saints game and the Saints won. So
Yeah.
heck of a game.
Explain why your voice is so scratchy so people understand
so
that.
if my voice, if I sound really bad tonight, it's because I just got home from the Saints Falcons game and I yelled for about 3 hours. Got a lot of crap from Falcons fans and gave a lot of crap. And yeah, it's a good time. Falcons Saints, hell of a rivalry. I've got a buddy that has season tickets, and that's sort of been our thing for the past few years. So every time the Saints play the Falcons, I get to go, and it's fun. It's hate week.
Yeah.
So Saints played like crap into the fourth quarter, and then they still tried giving it away in the fourth quarter with like 2 seconds left, and there was a penalty, and then they blocked Atlanta's field goal. So
That was
yeah,
crushing.
it was
And they were like
great.
building it up like the league record is 66 yards for a field goal. This is 63, and it's like, oh, maybe he's gonna be close to a record here. Not the record, but close to it, and then boom, blocked.
Yeah, I was
Block kick.
sweating it. I was sweating it because I knew he could probably kick it. Because
Yeah, he was on point all game.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And he's a good kicker. So then they blocked it. And yeah, because everybody was just like, all right, we're out of field goal range. And then there was a penalty with 2 seconds left. And I was like, what the hell, refs? Why are you going to give them this game? And then they blocked it. So Saints win.
We'll save this for the our other podcast, Football Galaxy.
Football Galaxy.
Yeah. This is the way to the end zone.
Yes. Did you pick up anything this week?
Just a couple things. I did pick up an IG-11 for the blind pack from Micro Squadron Galaxies. Cobb Band.
Yeah, did you get? Yeah.
I got a Darth Maul, another AT-RT. I took a point to recognize what it's actually called, so I'm not doing AT whatever. Don't at me. It's AT-RT.
AT-RT. Well, apparently, whoever you got the IG-11 from had an extra one. So
Yeah.
I got it.
So you got one coming too.
Yeah, my wife picked this up for me
I don't know.
today. It is
Hoverboard?
a plush
Hoverboard.
hoverboard from Back to the Future.
Nice. What's
I
that
can't
for?
bend it. It
Sleeping
feels like
on?
there's some. Huh?
Is that for sleeping?
I don't know
Pillow.
what it's for. I don't know if it's a pillow. I don't know what it is, but she picked me up a plush hoverboard. So I could afford cannot have the prop, but I have a plush. It looks full size, man. It's pretty impressive.
Weird.
It's really weird. She's like, I bought you something today. Well, first I'm at the game and I get a notification from Plastic Empire that I have like 1,500 points in my account. I'm like, what the heck did my wife just buy? And she did some trades at another store and then brought some trades there. So she'd been trading all day, and she came home with 2 more freaking Men on Card Ewoks, or at least the Ewok cartoon.
Oh my gosh.
So now all she has left are the Chief Chirpa and or Warwick or whatever, the medicine man, and the Wicket. And the Wicket is close to $1,000 minimum card. So she may never get that one. I think Warwick is still $300 to $400, and she's a little bit freaked out about that one. But I'm like, you're this deep, you might as well keep going.
Yeah. She's doing a
And
good
then one of
job.
the other ones she has is like a French label, and she's like, I need the American version of this. And I'm like, no.
That does bother me sometimes when you get the international version. You've got this. I guess it's the inner OCD where you've got all these American, U.S. English stuff, and you've got that one that's not, and it's just like,
Right.
my collection's
Oh,
too
and then we went to Second Chance last night after the meetup, because then after we left the meetup about an hour early, and we went down to her sister's birthdays today. So we had dinner with everybody last night. And so I didn't really want to go home. So we went to Second Chance, and she bought 2 more freaking tri-logos. I'm like, yeah, she counted them today. She's like, I have 12 men on cards. I'm like, God doggone
Did
it.
they just get those in?
They've had them in. She bought the Nikto and the Prune Face. They've been sitting.
Oh,
for
not just Ewok stuff. She's getting
no.
other
She
figures and
she got
tri-logo
Ewok stuff from Plastic Empire, and then got
Yeah.
the Wicked, the tri-logo stuff from Second Chance.
Yeah, she's
So.
collecting tri-logos now, right?
Yeah, now I guess for some reason she wants to make a tri-logo run. I'm like, have fun.
She's putting you to shame. Get in the
She's
game,
really-
Glenn. Start buying
I-
stuff.
Buy stuff, just not.
You haven't
Men on
bought anything.
cards.
Everything you got this week was from her or stuff that she bought.
I did buy some of the Super 7. They did the 3 3/4 Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
I bought some of those. They had, I think they had, which ones did they have? They have the Biff or the GIF, and then they had the 50s Marty. I got those, and then
Griff?
I bought like a Griff. Yes. And then they had like a little Back to the Future. Somebody must have traded in a big Back to the Future collection, because they had a bunch of Back to the Future stuff. And then I got a little DeLorean that's like I don't even know what. It was a DeLorean with a Marty in it. So I was like, F it. I'll buy that too.
And they had
then, huh?
Go ahead.
No. And then last weekend we were at, went up to my in-laws' lake house, and we're walking through this antique mall. And I round the corner, and they had the kangaroo from Pulp Fiction, the little kangaroo with the watch on it that he runs back in and I was like, no way. And they only wanted $5 for it. And I realized the head was broken. So I was going to put it back. And my wife was like, no, you're not for $5. So I've got to go dig a watch out, like an old school watch, and put on it. Because then I did some research on Etsy, and they're going for like $100. So I was like, I'll deal with it having a broken head, because people won't realize, you won't see it.
You're not using it for that.
Right. It'll
It's
just be
intended
something
purpose.
cool to have. Right.
What
It's
was
just
that micro machine?
It is, hold on, let me grab it. It is right here. I am grabbing it. They had this sitting and then at Second Chance, I got this for you. It's just a bagged Millennium Falcon. It's got the tag. That tag looks like it could have been from Suncoast or something.
Yeah.
They had a
that's the
penny on it at
Suncoast.
Suncoast. Huh?
Yeah, it's the Suncoast Graphics. No, Suncoast. What was it called?
Suncoast Video.
Graphic. Okay, Suncoast Video.
Why would they have had that for a penny though?
It must have been clearance, but I've never seen a bagged Galoob anything before.
Right. It's just a bagged Galoob Falcon.
And it's a bronze one?
Yeah, it's bronze.
That's interesting.
So yeah, I messaged you and you were like, I don't have it, so I want it.
Yeah. Are you able to take the tags off? Do they come off?
I think you could take the tags off, but I won't. I'll let you deal with that. They're the $5 tag Second Chance, so that should come off.
That should pop off. It's the Suncoast one that I'm worried about.
Yeah, I think it looks like it would come off. Oh, it says 909. So would that be the date? Why would
2009? No, that's way too late.
Yeah.
Galoob was owned by Hasbro in 2009, so that's way too late. I don't know.
You're right. No, I mean, I'm talking Suncoast wasn't around in 09, were they?
Some locations, yeah, they kind of slowly died.
Okay.
They weren't like Toys R Us where it's like, in 3 months we're all gone.
Right. So I just thought, I'm always on the lookout for interesting,
That's weird.
baggy stuff for
But
you.
yeah.
So,
Don't own one,
for
so
$5.
thank you. I owe you 5.
Yeah, add it to the pile, dude.
Speaking of micro machines, I did notice on Deal or No Deal a pair of Chewbacca pre-productions sold for $100 each.
Wow.
And I'm not sure, and that's the highest I've ever seen micro machines go pre-production.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if that was the battle of the Chewy collectors or what. but it had me a little concerned that it's going that much now.
I think it was a battle of the Chewy collectors because
Okay.
you had a
I
bunch
hope
of
so.
high-end Chewy, a few high-end Chewy collectors that got in there and had to have it. You want to talk about the meetup yesterday?
Well, I have
Or do you
news.
have
Let's go through
you have
news,
let's go to news. Yes.
and then we'll talk about the meetup. Did you watch the Obi-Wan behind the scenes thing?
I have not.
Oh, I guess we'll talk about that.
You can talk about it. I mean, or you want me to watch it and then we can talk about it?
No, I mean, there's really not much to talk about. It's pretty emotional. I just like the triumphant return of these actors to these roles that were. I mean, Ewan McGregor was pretty much. Everyone pretty much liked his performances. It was Hayden Christensen that people thought his character was wooden, and I had the complaints about, and people didn't like the prequels. So it was just very cool to see these guys come back to the roles and be at the peak of their game and just performing with excellence, and then being welcomed by the community. I will say that the Obi-Wan Kenobi one has like a post-credit sequence. They cut into the this is the thing that got me really, like, I was emotional before, but this thing really hit hard or hit home. They have an after credit scene at Celebration where they talk about just unveiling this to the audience and to the Star Wars fans for the first time, and it was at Celebration. So it kind of is a post credit scene, like a Marvel movie. But they open up with the shot of that main hallway, kind of midway through, where if you're on the far end, you look all the way down, you see the TIE fighter. You know what I'm talking about? Remember Celebration?
Yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, oh, our booth is right there. And it just hit home. I'm like, oh, I remember that weekend. That was awesome. And it just brought me back to that moment. And then to see Ewan and Deborah Chow and Hayden Christensen talk about the fan reaction was just awesome. It was just
Did it show you waving to him when he was roaming around?
No. No.
On the free floor, free show.
No, that's the after credits that are only shown at my place.
Look at you and
No, there I am crying. I'm getting wept up in emotion. And then you probably didn't see the Andor trailer. There was a special 8-minute. Yeah.
I'm trying to go into Andor pretty much blind.
Okay.
Because that's what I did with Rogue One, and I loved it. And I think that's why I love Rogue One the most is because you had no expectations out of that. So I'm hoping Andor is going to be like that.
Andor is only 2 seasons, and it's going to cover 5 years. It's not going to be 5 seasons. It's going to be 2 seasons, 24 episodes, 5 years. So take that to the bank.
Right. I heard like this season's going to be 1 year, and then there's going to have 5 time jumps or 4 time jumps.
Yeah.
In the next year. So hopefully he won't be pregnant in one of the time jumps.
Right.
That's Game of Thrones or Sons of Dragons or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that Game of Thrones thing is. Where they had
kind of weird because they've got these 2 fantasy shows. This is off topic, and I'm sorry. I'll make this only 2 minutes long. They've got these 2 fantasy shows. You've got House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings, both that were kind of like, is this really gonna? I mean, like Game of Thrones, you were like, is this gonna be like season 8? Is this where this is going? And you thought maybe it's not gonna be crap, but no, they hit it out of the park, and it's moving fast. I mean, it's just like there's so much happening between episodes. The timelines are just so sped up, and you're like, wait, what's going on? You have to keep up, and it's really, really engaging. And then you have Lord of the Rings. And as a Lord of the Rings fan, I'm like, is this going to be good? Is this really going to be? You're going to do this? You're really going to do this? And no, they've knocked that out of the park. There's a sense of mystery, even though you know what's going to happen. The and tying it back to Game of Thrones, where this was supposed to be told over thousands of years, so they've kind of escalated it, and I would imagine it's going to be told within 30 years. So you have the same characters throughout the 5 seasons. Otherwise, like every 2 episodes, you'd have to recast it. But it's just weird to see that being, truncated into 5 seasons. That's supposed to be thousands of years, but it's not. And it's just like, who's this character? And there's things happening. It's like, wait, I think I know who that is. Oh, wait, maybe he's not. And it's just getting excited about it. It's good. It's good. Anyways,
yes, I enjoy it. So, the Lord of the Rings thing. Do you have to? Should I have watched the Lord of the Rings movies before I watch the show?
I don't think so. You're just not going to be clued in as to what's going on. They do show like a sword in episode 3, which is a sword that has an important significance in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
But you wouldn't know that. You'd just be like, oh, why are they focusing on that sword?
Right, and they linger
Kind
on
of
it
like
for-
in The Rise of Skywalker. If you've never seen any of the movies and suddenly someone out of the blue gives Chewbacca a medal, you're like, what's that about?
Right.
Shut the
Gotcha.
fire. Anyways,
Cool.
someone
What
was
other kind
someone
Huh?
was cast as Ezra Bridger, but I think autocorrect changed the spelling on me,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm just pulling this up. Just trying to stall. Yeah, it did. Iman Esfandi
Uh-huh.
has been cast as Ezra Bridger on Ahsoka.
I don't know who he is, but he looks like he could play a good Ezra.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer because the whole thing is like, where is Ezra? So it's like, oh, they found him. Okay, don't need to watch that show.
Yeah, you do.
I'm just playing with you.
Dude,
That does
you got
take some
so
of the mystery out of it. Like we know where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, you knew it was gonna happen, but do they? Well, they also. What if they never really find him, or maybe they find him, but
He's dead.
oh yeah, they're casting Thrawn and Ezra, but they're light years away, and they're focusing on what they're going through, but you're not seeing them connect with Ahsoka yet.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna see two different halves of the show.
Yeah.
Story.
I don't know. Like I really wonder what happened to Ezra and Thrawn.
Yeah. Well, that's what Ahsoka's for.
Did Thrawn corrupt Ezra? Like, why wouldn't Ezra just be like, I'm going back to find my people now?
Probably because was it?
it's-
Yeah, they were in his Star Destroyer, right?
Yeah, and it seems like Thrawn is out doing stuff if people know where he is. If we tie it back to season 2 of The Mandalorian, where someone possessed the knowledge of where Thrawn was, I would make the logical jump that Thrawn got away, started interacting with people, and they know where he is because of that.
Interesting.
Right?
Maybe.
I think that's a logical jump.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. We did miss a bunch of Black Series. I thought you'd have more to that. Do you want to talk about D23 and the image that they released? Because
what did you mean? Thought I'd have more to say about what, Ezra, or?
Yeah, I thought you'd be more excited.
Well, I was waiting. I was kind of waiting for you to get into the D23 stuff before I really got into it, but they did show that one picture of they basically, because like D23 they did a Star Wars panel, which was basically it was basically a redo of the one from Celebration, but they added a couple of things from Ahsoka, and they had a live action like shot on the wall of the mural, and then they had a live action Sabine, and I don't know if it was the actress that I really played Sabine. They never really showed her face, but they had someone dressed up as Sabine touching the mural as the end of Rebels, and I kept waiting because they released the Andor trailer, they released all the trailers from the Tales of the Jedi trailer, they released the Mandalorian trailer, everything from a Celebration except the Ahsoka trailer. So I just kept scrolling my phone all day waiting, when are they going to release the Ahsoka trailer? And you just were like, dude, stop, it'll be okay, because we were at the meetup, and I
didn't say that.
No, you were just like, it's always, you were sounding like Indiana Jones when he's like, why does it always have to be snakes? You were like, why does it always have to be rebels with you? And I'm like,
I didn't say that like that either.
No, but
I said it always goes back to Rebels.
It always goes back to Rebels. Yes, it does. So they didn't show the Ahsoka trailer, but they had that one picture had me tore up all day.
Yeah, they also showed a picture of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And then they shared a photo from the Skeleton Crew with Jude Law.
Yeah.
Which is like the Stranger Things. Which, does that take place during the Mandalorian time?
I don't know.
I thought it did.
I don't know.
But
I don't know when that timeline is, but it looks cool. I just want good Star Wars content, man. That's why I hope Andor is awesome. That comes 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. Not now. maybe about a week from when this drops.
Yeah, so like the 23rd or something, or 21st.
I think it's the 21st.
Okay, with 3 freaking episodes.
Yeah, so when this drops, you've got about a week and a day if you listen to it right away. But if you're listening to this years from now, I'm sorry. Just tune into Disney Plus and watch it now.
Dude, I'd be impressed if people are listening to this years from now.
Yeah, probably not. I wish I saved all the original files just to have them.
I have them. They're all in my computer. If I ever get it back and it doesn't crash.
The other thing at D23, Mandalorian is going to be walking around Disneyland.
I saw that,
but not Disney World.
And when we were talking to our friend Susan about this a couple of weeks ago, she thinks that because Disneyland is a lot less people go to Disneyland, that's why they'll do that cool crap in Disneyland and they won't do it in Disney World. But it looked pretty good, dude.
I would be happy with Launch Bay. Just throw Mandalorian over in the Launch Bay so I can take a photo with him and Grogu.
Right.
They even had a BB-8 meet and greet. Just throw Grogu up on a shelf and let me take a photo with him.
Right. And that Grogu looked good because I was watching and he's moving around, and the Mando, there's no trick. If there's trick, somebody's got a remote for Grogu somewhere. Yeah. And I don't know if Mando has it or if somebody's following him. Yeah. But the Grogu's like on a timer or something, but that sucker's moving on his own.
Yeah,
so they spent money on that.
The latest rumor is that Disneyland Paris, they're not getting Galaxy's Edge, they're getting Avatar. They were originally supposed to get, and it doesn't matter to any, I mean, it matters if you're in France, but Euro Disney's apparently getting the Avatar stuff, Pandora.
I'd be mad if I was in, well, I guess, Avatar is coming back out. So why not?
Yeah, and Star Wars is not, because it's all TV shows now.
Right. Well, I mean, that Flight of Passage is an amazing ride.
Yeah. I'll wrap up. Yeah, it is. It's pretty fun. It's not as good as Smuggler's Run or Rise of the Resistance.
I haven't been, yeah.
But
oh my God. So let me just tell this quick story. So Mandy sent me a link to join, sort of like win Disney tickets. So I fill it out and I get a phone call. Hey, guess what? Congratulations. We just need you to sit through a half an hour or hour and a half presentation. So it's a freaking timeshare on Zoom. And I'm like, so they're trying to sell you on all this stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, you won that Disney trip. It sucks. And I'm like, why the hell would you tell me that? So I'm waiting to hear it. Because you have to go, if you go to California, it's a red eye coming and going, and it's 2 days and 3 nights, or 3 nights, whatever, 3 nights and 2 days, or 2 days, whatever, 2 nights, whatever. It's 2 nights. So they were just kind of poo-pooing because they wanted to get me to buy their freaking vacation package, because we're like, oh, that package is, we give you a $3,000 credit to if you turn your thing back in. And I'm like, I don't want to turn it
Disney
back
trip.
I just want my damn Disney trip. So it was like, it ended up, they were like, it's $6,000 and then you can vacation for $200 every time you go. And I'm just like, yeah, but it cost me $6,000 to get in on your thing, plus $400 a year, plus the $229 trip. I'm not saving any money, man.
Yeah.
So freaking, yeah. Thank God it was on Zoom. So it wasn't too bad, but that was how we spent our Friday night.
You guys know how to party.
Oh, it was freaking great.
Yeah. Ryan Johnson still hopes to make his next Star Wars movie. He still talks to Kathleen Kennedy, so don't count it out. He's just busy with other things. I just saw a review today of Glass Onion, the next Knives Out movie, and it's like the review said it was bigger and better than the first one, which is like, the first one was pretty phenomenal. That was an A+ movie, so I can't imagine him topping that.
I guess I need to watch that movie too.
You haven't seen Knives Out?
No.
Knives Out is the bomb.
Is it?
It's really good.
Really good. I saw Jurassic World's on Paramount Plus, or not Paramount, Peacock. So I'm gonna have to watch that.
The first one or Dominion?
No, the Dominion is on. I think it's on Peacock. It's either Peacock or Hulu. I think it's Peacock.
It's not on Hulu, so it's probably Peacock.
Okay, what's on Peacock?
It is a Universal.
Okay, well then there you go. Now
Yeah,
I gotta
that
freaking
makes sense.
watch that because I've been I heard it stinks, but I still want to see. I still want to see it.
You
Is it
can't see my
bad?
face.
Yeah, I do see your face. You've got that
Yeah,
Jason look.
like when it comes to those Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies, the first Jurassic Park is it's by far it makes all the others look like it's Godfather compared to those. Like
Right.
it's just the best, and it just gets worse as it goes. Jurassic
Well, and
World
plus,
was fun, but
uh
it's no Jurassic Park.
and Jurassic Park kind of always holds a special place in my heart because I watched it the day I graduated high school.
Oh
So we did
geez.
so you did the graduation practice like first thing in the morning, and then you had like the rest of the day to kill.
Yeah.
And me and a friend of mine were like, "Hey, we're watching we just got done reading Jurassic Park, so let's go see the movie while we have this 3-4 hours to kill."
Was that 94?
93.
93. So I was 13. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that tons of times. I remember going to see that with my grandfather, and he fell asleep in the middle. I'm like, Grandpa, wake up. And we got out of the theater. I'm like, I can't believe you fell asleep. He's like, I didn't fall asleep. He said, did you see the part with the rocket ship? I didn't see a rocket ship. See, you fell asleep too. Dad jokes. And then a couple other things to wrap it up. We've skipped a bunch of Black Series releases. There's the new Andor, Cassian Andor from Aldani Mission, and an Imperial Officer, just labeled Dark Times, which are pre-ordered at Walmart on Thursday, October 6th. And then there's another 2 figures from Andor, a Shore Trooper, Target exclusive, an Imperial Officer Ferrex. I don't know if that's the planet or what, but that'll be pre-ordered on September 23rd at 9 a.m. Definitely want that Shore Trooper.
Yeah.
Even though it's a repack. That's my dude. And then the last thing is that there is some sort of Black Series 40th anniversary Admiral Akbar with Kenner Deco.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be a London Comic Con exclusive from October 28th to the 1st, but I'm sure that's going to be available in the US at some point. It's probably like a Hasbro exclusive. I didn't see much difference. I don't know. Like there's just not a lot of difference between the regular version and the Black Series, the Kenner version. So I'm like, what's the difference there? But maybe it's just a stretch and they're just repainting things.
You know, Hasbro loves a good repaint.
Yeah. And that's it for the news. The news is brought to you by the Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors September meetup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we had our meetup yesterday with our buddies Lewis and April. They hosted. Where they Cartersville?
Cartersville. They're right outside of
Cartersville.
Cartersville.
Yeah. And they always have a really awesome spread. And he had done the running of the hoods, which you got confused about because you thought it was a physical race, but no, it was a race to find eggs, which turned out to be marbles because he used to collect frog eggs to buy his Star Wars figures.
I misunderstood the assignment. I thought if you got the frog eggs, you get $5. And then if you win the race, if you get first place in the race, you get the figure. I passed both frogs because I didn't want the $5. I wanted the figures.
So I find that, and so I'm kind of like coming on the tail end because I was like, I'm not running; it's too hot.
Yeah. So it's in a wooded area.
Yeah.
So just to describe it to people, it's behind his house. He's got some woods, but there's paths, and it's a well-defined path. And so you just follow this around, and then there's ceramic frogs in the middle of the path. One was kind of hidden. And then in that area was a hidden bag of marbles, which represent the frog eggs. And the story quickly about the frog eggs is that he would sell actual frog eggs as a kid to earn $5 and buy his action figures. So I ran into there wearing my Wilro Hood costume, thinking I just needed to finish the race, come in first place and win the action figure. Lisa's behind me, and I'm like, Lisa, there's a frog right here, so there's got to be eggs. I'll see you later.
Womp womp.
And that's the one you found, apparently.
Yeah, I found the first one because they were all looking, and then all of a sudden I see a Ziploc bag underneath some pine straw, and I was like, doink. I'll grab this one. And then Fernando's, is it his sister?
Yeah, Minnie.
Yeah, Minnie, yeah, she had found the second one. So I got like a little 3 3/4. So first of all, when I turned him in, he hands me $5 and he's like, "Do you want $5 or you want the custom figure?" I'm like, "I want the custom figure." So it was actually a really good, well done real row hood, 3 3/4 real row hood that he used Lando's head, but then like an Imperial officer's body, and painted the body orange and made a little Cantono and put it in a little case and stuff. And in second place was a bigger, a 12-inch version of it. So both of them looked incredible.
Yeah.
So I've got it sitting. If you look hard enough, you could see it, but it's sitting with all my patches, the Robo Hood ice cream set.
Nice.
I got to rearrange everything. My wife's looking at her case going, "I need to rearrange all this stuff." It's like, yeah, you kind of do. So yeah, but anyway, we're doing that, and you and him are both dressed in your railroad hoods, and so we start doing the auction for Choa, and there was some cool stuff. You'd done a piece of art that my wife bought, and Lewis did a piece of art that she also bought, and there was, posts. So we ended up raising about $400 for the 50-50 for the club, and
so $200 each.
So $200 each, basically.
Nice.
So I'm in the middle of doing this, and Lewis walks out in pink shorts, shirtless, in pink shorts, holding a boom mic, like the old school
pink shorts
boom mic operator, pink shorts guy. And I had to stop what I'm doing. So I'm sure it's on video somewhere. But
yeah, it's up on our page, in the Georgia Alliance page.
And I had to laugh for like 2 minutes, just stop what I was doing, because I look over my shoulder and I see a shirtless Lewis, and I look and I'm like, oh no, he's sound guy.
Yeah.
Pink shorts guy.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff he does when he hosts. It's just it's so well thought out, and like I've said before in some of these episodes, that he just thinks of ways, because I guess, from his childhood, it was always fix it instead of buying another one. So he's always still thinking about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How could I fix this instead of buying one?
Yeah.
And all his stuff is, like even his childhood stuff has got, cloth capes on his Darth Vader, because it's like, no, we're not buying you a new one. Go make a cape. And, just really well done stuff like that.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on it?
We all saw the collection. We went in there for a little bit, and then we came out, and I would say, like 95% of that meetup was just us hanging out with each other.
Yep.
5% Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
cool. That's kind of cool. I know we're gonna start doing like some neutral sites. So you came, or actually Tim. Yeah, I was gonna say Troy, Tim, Mike. Too many T names. Came up with a good idea of us doing like a paint and sip, where you drink alcohol and paint, so that we can all come home with our own custom Star Wars piece of art. And I think we're gonna look into that. Or you were saying you were?
Yeah, I reached out to a place. So there's probably like two options where I reach out to painting with a twist, to see if they can do that, which I've already done. But then the other option would be to try to find like a hall somewhere where we can just do it ourselves. And I would buy all the canvases, and I would sketch out what we're going to paint, and I would have to get the paints. We have tons of paints, but we need paintbrushes, and we would need enough paints. And we've kind of done those parties before. My daughter did that for a birthday party, so we've kind of know what to expect to do something like that. We'd probably want to just charge people $10 to make sure they come.
Right.
But
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, I don't want to get
my only thing with you guys doing it is we've done a lot of stuff up in this end of town. I kind of want to get closer, like Perimeter Mall, I think is the one you found, which is more central.
Yeah. Well, even if we could find a place to rent, it doesn't need to be up here. It doesn't need, the whole point is to find a neutral site.
Right, exactly.
To do this party. It doesn't have to be here.
Gotcha.
Anyone in the Georgia area, anyone in the Atlanta area knows of a place that you can rent out a hall with tables and chairs for 2-3 hours, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good meetup. It was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. How late you end up staying?
We adjourned around 4 o'clock.
Okay.
It was 12 to 4.
I
We stayed the time at the time. They had family show up at around 3:30.
okay.
And so we kind of sat around and talked about a couple things, and then we kind of left at 4. We said goodbye. We helped them pack up and took off.
I really hate it. It always seems if I have somewhere to be at a meetup, like if I've got to cut out early, that's the meetup where things are going really good and doesn't want to end early or ends, at 4 or 5 o'clock. And it just, I hate leaving early when it's like that.
Yeah.
But I ended up leaving about 3 o'clock yesterday, or yeah, it was yesterday because we had a
Yeah.
birthday party to go to.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Always love a good meetup.
Yeah. So on to October.
Yeah. Which will be at Second Chance.
And Skippy is November. And then we have
Yep.
the winter social, which I need to start prepping for.
Right. Which means I need to start booking for February next year. It's already getting to that point.
February, let's shoot for the paint night. I guess we're
okay. Yeah, because it's cold.
We'll table this for later.
Yeah, sorry, we're getting into
the exciting podcast where we do administrative tasks. Don't forget to carry the 1, subtract 30. Okay,
exactly.
Yep. Stamp that file, please. You make sure you stamp that paper appropriately 3 times and sign in triplicate.
Yes. All right, I will right now. Staple. Have you seen my stapler? Hey, that's my stapler.
Okay, I need my stapler. Okay, but I'm gonna
the red stapler. It's a swing line.
I'm gonna blow this place up.
Better
get a piece of cake because last time I asked for cake and I got no cake. There's no cake, and they told me I was gonna get a piece of cake.
And I didn't get cake. Yeah, that was great. I was totally doing that yesterday as I was cutting the birthday cake.
Cool,
man.
On to the topic you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, this
topic.
It's kind of sensitive because I'm just going to throw this out there to begin with because basically with AFA getting bought out by the company that owns Hakes.
Isn't it Diamond?
Yeah, Diamond Distributors. Is it Diamond Distributors or just Diamond?
I don't know.
But anyway, they've got
screaming in a car right now.
Yeah, they got bought out by the company that owns Hakes Auction House. And so it feels in the community, it's kind of brewing. It hasn't even really, it's just now really starting to bubble to the surface that it's a conflict of interest because AFA would, if they know that something's going into the auction, they would grade it high so that they would get more money. So is it diluting AFA's standing in the community or whatever because they're doing that or people feel they're doing that? There's nothing. This is all alleged. So we're not. It's just the way people feel. I'm not accusing AFA of doing anything. This is just a conversation topic I thought would be interesting to cover. To put all our cards on the table. AFA's in our backyard. I've got stuff at AFA now. You've used AFA. I've used CAS. And to me, it's a pick and choose topic. Do I want something archived or do I want something displayed? If I want it displayed, it goes to CAS. If I want it archived, I send it to AFA because that's sort of where I think that's their niche. So just to put everything out there, it's just a discussion. I'm not alleging anything. I'm curious how you feel, how I feel, and just have an open discussion about it for a few minutes.
Yeah, I think it's Diamond Book Distributors. First of all, I'm just trying to make sure we get this right, but they're not. I don't know if that's true. Well, anyways, I'm just trying to be factual because I know someone's yelling at us in the car, and yeah, it can be a conflict of interest. And again, we know people who work at AFA, and I don't mean to talk bad about them. I think we're just talking high level. Is this just because you could doesn't mean you should. Right. I think the issue is, this is a nice if Hakes gets something, normally if it's a really nice carded figure, they could just auction it. Now they can say, hey, we've got this grading company and this will grade hide. Are they telling I doubt it, but are they telling AFA, hey, grade this high so we can get more in this auction?
Right. I don't think I wouldn't go that far, but
That's a possibility.
it's a
There's no
possibility.
evidence that's happening.
Right.
But
Correct.
that's the true fear.
Right. It is. That's, I think, where everybody's fear is. And I think grading has always been, do you do it or not? And people feel grading's a scam. I don't think it's necessarily a scam, but I do think it's weird that you'll get a figure that you ungraded, it's a $40 figure, but then you grade it and it grades a 90, all of a sudden it's a $400 figure.
Yeah.
So like if it grades low, you lose money, like I've got my DT Luke's a 75 plus. So I didn't pay that much for it. I paid a lot for it, but I paid less in general because it graded a 75, but it's still a DT. It still has the paper. It's got a really nice saber to it. So it just great. It's a very opinionated, I'm looking for another word that I can't think of that means opinion, but it's trying to sound smarter. But that's sort of where grading is. I think I'll grade if I want to archive more than anything. I'm not grading for a quote unquote investment. I'm grading to archive stuff.
But you can get that stuff from Ian.
Right.
Without spending more money to grade it. And you're still archiving it.
I will not grade a mint on card, but I'll grade, like I've got a Taiwan FET that has the whatever V4 blaster, whatever the blaster, that's $150 that I graded for the purpose that I wanted to make sure that blaster always stayed with that FET. And I didn't want to lose a $150 blaster because it fell on the floor and went down a vent somewhere. So that's why I grade. It's more to archive stuff. But yeah, you're right. You can call Ian and get a case that archives it or keeps it up just as nice.
Yeah. I think the only time I'm ever going to grade things again is if I need for authenticity.
Right.
To say this is what I say it is.
Exactly.
The rest of the time, an acrylic case is fine by me. I think the people who are bite my tongue because there's an easy way to make money. You buy a lot, you see this is worth a lot, you get it graded, and then you flip it around, not for 20% markup, but you're selling it maybe for 200% markup. All you've done is you've gone and you've slapped a 90 on the side of it, and suddenly it's worth $12,000, whatever the case may be. And it's just like it's the same figure. You're ripping this guy off. You just bought it for $200 and now you're selling it for 12,000. Like, this is not good for the community. This is the reason things are. And the thing that I'm having trouble wrapping my head around, and this is all aging plastic. You spend $12,000 and there's no guarantee that your figure is not going to suddenly start getting fuzzy because it's starting to break apart. It just seems safer that way to buy something sometimes. If you're not sure if it's a recard or something like that, you just let the experts at AFA or CAS or wherever just go through it and say, yeah, that's what they say it is. It's not recarded. It's an original figure. But I think where the problem is that people come into the hobby, I guess we've kind of moved off of Hakes and AFA.
We can
talking
bring
about
it
grading
back
in general.
to it.
But it is a problem when people come into the hobby and they're flipping things and they're making a business. And then the weird thing is that I've noticed is that, like, if you're not selling to some individuals or if you're not buying from individuals, you are the problem in the hobby. And it's like, you haven't noticed that?
No.
Yeah, there's a couple individuals where I've seen them say comments like, they kind of dismiss some of the people in the hobby because they're not buying or selling. And it's like, some people have a collection, they don't need to buy. And those people who have a collection, they're going to keep their collection and they're not going to sell. That doesn't make them bad people. That doesn't make them. Yeah, it's happening.
That's stupid.
Well, this is the same people who are buying things in lots and grading them and flipping them and having market. Like that's part of the reason why I stopped the market report, because I see people coming to the hobby and turning this into like a stock market. Apparently this is a hot button topic with me, because I'm going off. But people have come into the hobby and they've got these market reports, and it's like they're treating this like this is an investor field, and it's a hobby. And yeah, there's a struggle between people who are hobbyists and people who are investors, but it's the investors that are jacking up the prices purposely and ruining it for the hobbyists who just want to collect. Like me, I would love to have, the full run of 12 backs and 21 backs and 20 backs, whatever. But it's way out of my price league right now because someone has jacked the prices up to $3,000, $4,000, whatever the case may be, purposely driving those prices up to make a profit, ruining it for someone like me who's a hobbyist.
Right. I can feel your aggravation because thankfully I finished my 92 run 3-4 years ago before probably closer to Jesus. The pandemic just screwed with us.
The
I can't
pandemic
believe
and then Disney buying.
Right. But I'm just time wise, I lose 2 years or a year and a half because of the pandemic. So, I've probably finished my loose run 4 or 5 years ago before prices went insane. And thankfully I had a lot of help getting there that I couldn't have done it without help. And like you said, you still find that help or crap. Yeah, you're right. It is an investment, and I don't know if it's going to crash soon, but you are starting to see stuff, people that got into it during COVID are now like, it's time to get out,
Yeah, I don't think I don't think things are going to crash. I think they're just going to plateau. And I'm not an
Yeah.
expert in any sense, but if I bought something for $500, I'm just using this as a nice number, I'm not going to sell it for $3.
Right.
I might be done buying things, but I'm not going to sell it until I can get my money back or more.
Right.
So if people stop with their interest in the hobby, the prices are not going to go down because people are not going to sell it at lower than what they bought it for, especially if you're starting to get into the real dollars of like $5,000 for like $10,000 for the early bird set. I don't think that's ever going to go down to $5,000.
No.
That's going to keep going north. There's not going to be a crash in the hobby. I think it's just going to dissolve one day.
Yeah, not like you were saying. If it's going to crash, I think it'll crash on the loose figures versus the higher end stuff. But I don't necessarily see a crash. I like you said, a plateau, or people are going to they're going to stop spending $600 on a yak face.
Yeah.
Because unless you just really, really need one, or people are, I guess I don't need a yak face. We're going to wait for somebody to do a custom one, buy the custom one.
Yeah. Trying to take it back.
We can keep going down this road and just edit the whole AFA thing out.
No, it's fine. We're not going to edit. We don't edit anymore.
What's editing, man? What's editing?
Yeah, it's frustrating, and I still want to know how things get graded as high as they do. What's the checklist? Share the checklist. Can I find a checklist of, like, if I'm looking at a figure, okay, it's got that check, it's got that, nope, it's not that, nope. And like, people just look at figures sometimes, that's going to grade a 70. How do you know?
Right.
Just because the paint's not on it anymore?
I think people, yeah, I think it's that, and I think people, they kind of have sent enough stuff in to get graded that they know what's what. I mean, I sent a C3PO one time that was freaking cherry, and it graded an 80 because it had a paint vein on the back of his leg, and they were just like, sorry, that's the way it is. There's no that's what it graded, that, and this is why, so they were able to give me at least an issue, what the issue was. But yeah, I don't think there's a set scale or whatever, and I think it's all their opinion, or their, are they having, because you can have stuff grade one day at a 75 and the next day, I mean, I'm not next day, but send stuff in that grades an 80 or grades a 75, and the next time it'll grade an 80, and it just, guy could have been having a bad day, or he could have been having a good day, and you know, you're not sure.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's got to be some algorithm out there.
I don't know. Whenever companies are buying up other companies, it's never good for the end user, the
Right.
person who's using it. It's usually good for the companies themselves, not for the people who use them. So
Right.
I mean, that's my fear with the Hakes AFA thing. There's no evidence that's happened. This is all just a hypothetical. I just want to make sure this is the legal disclaimers there, that this is all hypothetical, that this could possibly happen if it was put in the wrong hands of someone. That's my concern, and there's no evidence of it, but
it's starting to become a hot topic issue. That's why we wanted to discuss it. But yeah, we haven't seen any evidence, but you do start. I mean, because I know there's been. It definitely could be a conflict of interest, and you know, you're wondering what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because have you seen anything graded since Hakes bought AFA graded by CES or UKG in a Hakes auction, or do you pay that close
I've been
attention?
paying that close attention, but now that you mention it, that'd be interesting to check out if Hakes is only dealing with AFA stuff now.
I mean, that right there, if they are not putting that stuff, that other companies' grades in their thing, it would be interesting to see if they're doing that.
Yeah.
Because then that would be a check.
Yeah, like just to clarify what my concern is, because we've talked about this a couple of times, but Disney buys Lucasfilm, and then suddenly everybody who's dealing with Lucasfilm has to deal with the Disney manufacturers overseas. Less quality check, less quality for the end user. We all suffer, all because Disney's forcing this. So that's not a good thing for us who are collectors, who like the hobby. And then you've got eyes that are in ears on action figures because there's no quality check. So that's the kind of thing that I'm worried about. But I don't know. I haven't paid that close attention to Hakes just because, again, it's all out of my price range. Things keep going north.
And then on top of it being, you know, an expensive item, you're paying buyer's premium. So you're paying like what is it, 10 or 15, maybe even upwards of almost 20% buyer's premium on some of these things. So yeah, it could get out of hand real fast. You know, as far as that goes,
when it was first out.
What was that, Bitcoin?
I should have bought Bitcoin when it first came out.
I heard that had a big crash.
Yeah, it's still crashing.
Jeez.
But whatever. That's it.
And I think, and getting back to this kind of crap, an investing thing, I think stuff like that is going to force people to get into more collecting as an investment versus collecting as a hobby. Because you do have the crash of Bitcoin, and you got the crash of all that stuff that, you know,
yeah,
what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's I didn't focus my collection on vintage stuff when I probably should, instead of modern stuff, and now it's just way out. Like vintage stuff was always like, I always wanted the best. I wanted it to look good, so I'm not going to waste my time on that. So I'm just going to continue with the modern stuff, and I'll worry about the vintage stuff when I'm later down the road. And now it's like, okay, I've played that game for 10 years and I see how that's worked out. So it's not working out well, and I can't afford it. So
Right.
It's like, I don't know where I'm going with that rant, but I had a point when I started, and then I lost it somewhere along the way. I looked at you, and that's what happened.
Oh, did you see my pretty face and forget all about it? I'm not bored. I was looking at my wife's. I didn't bring the charger for the computer, so I'm kind of watching that. I was doing stuff to the computer so it'll last.
What's the cheese in the hobby? Like, what are people saying about this whole AFA Hakes thing?
I think people are just concerned that Hanks will push AFA's buttons, or be like, hey, look, this piece is getting ready as a high-end piece, grade it high, or make sure it gets a couple of points higher. That's, I think, the concern in the hobby, that they will inflate the grade to get more money out of it.
because
And
there's no official checklist. It's
correct.
all, yeah.
It's all hearsay, and it's all, this is how I feel. And there, yeah, like you said, there's no fact checking. There's nothing to fall back on. So maybe that's something that they could work on. Maybe that, hey, this is our checklist, and
Because I've heard
go ahead.
I gotta stop interrupting you.
And they know it's all good, dude. I interrupt you too, so we're good. But they could be like, this is our checklist, and then you get so many points deducted that boom, it's 85, and then boom, it's 80, and then boom, each, that may be something that they could do, but I don't know if that's something that, it's like the Coca-Cola secret formula that only 4 people know, and they never travel on the same plane. Is it something like that?
Yeah, you hear those stories. This has never happened. And again, this is all hypothetical. We're not making any accusations. We're not saying this has happened. We just want to make sure we make that clear.
Right.
We trust that the people at AFA are doing their job.
Oh, I have no doubt that AFA is still doing a killer job. Like I said, I got stuff at AFA right now that I'm waiting to get back. We also
believe that everyone at AFA is currently ethical and they're not doing this. So we just want to make sure we make that clear. We're just voicing concerns that if the people we trust suddenly aren't there anymore, they've moved on to other jobs. This is the concern later down the road. That hasn't happened, so I don't have any concerns. Just want to make sure we say all that disclaimer stuff.
Right. We'll say it for like 5 more times in the
episode. I don't want somebody to see the header image for this week's podcast and then click on it and then get mad because we're talking bad about them. But I mean, I have heard stories where people, and I've seen YouTubes where people will crack open a graded item and then resubmit it and then get a different grade.
Yeah.
So it is arbitrary, it is subjective, and it all depends on the day that the person's having. What if someone's having what if Hakes gets something, they crack it open, they send it back to AFA, not realizing they just graded it and they graded higher. Like that's more of a possibility than I think Hakes saying, hey, no, you need to grade this a 95. Mm-hmm. They get a 90.
Or what? Right. I'm sorry. I should have let you finish your thought.
No, they get a 90, they crack it open, send it back. The next time it's a 95. Without that checklist to fall back on to say, this is the reason why I graded a 90 or 95, it's kind of like it's all subjective.
Right. I'm sorry. You're drinking, so you're done. Thought. What if they did something like somebody had a low grade and they're like, no, this thing needed to be graded higher, and then they send it back to get a higher grade.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Hypothetical.
I mean, it could happen. And it's not. And I think this sort of was when they first announced that they were buying AFA. I think this was sort of, people were like, whoa, that don't look good. Yeah. And now they're not that, like I said, not that anything, there's no proof of it. People are just concerned.
So nothing has changed, because I was wondering why you brought this topic up. And I thought something, because I'm inside the hobby, one foot out of it. And I'm like, did something happen?
No, nothing happened. We just have, there are certain chats that have happened, and this has kind of been a running topic. And there's been stuff in certain groups that it's been a topic. It's a hot button for certain people. So I just thought it would be, hey, let's talk about this, because we needed a topic.
What if I spray painted a yellow stormtrooper and submitted it to AFA? What would happen?
AFA would tell you to pound sand. That's another issue. Okay, so let's bring up.
Just joked with that.
I know you're bringing it. You're joking.
I'm making a joke. Yeah, I would never do anything like that.
No, but there was another thing that. So now CAS, they're grading customs, and that's another hot topic, because they're like, why are they doing that? And it's like, well, because somebody sent that in to get graded. CAS is not as highbrow as AFA, and I say that as jokingly, so don't somebody take it the wrong way. But CAS is, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, CAS is a display company, AFA is an archival company. And I've said that to people that work at both companies, and they're like, I agree. So that's not something I've hidden, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. That's how I feel about both companies. But CAS is a display company. So if I have a custom that I want displayed really awesome, made it look old school, and they want to grade it, I don't have a problem with it. I do have a problem with like a Mark Poon that's made to look like a custom, or somebody is trying to deceive somebody.
Yeah.
And because CAS has gotten burned by this, that they've graded something saying, hey, this is a fake card, and somebody sells it for real. They never list that it's a fake card, but hey, it's graded by CAS. And this was years ago, and they got burned by it, and they're like, no, we're not doing that again. So that, that's good on CAS, but they are starting to grade more custom stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some of those custom stuff, it's pretty obvious what is vintage and what is custom.
Right.
And if they want to custom, if they're going to accept it and people are willing to pay for it, what's the difference? I think when people see a 90 12 back, a 90 grade 12 back, they're like, wow, I see why you've graded that. But if they see a custom figure that's graded, you're like, why did you waste your money? Like, there is a difference in collectors' minds, and I say that waste the money, not that you're wasting your money. I'm not making any judgments. I'm just saying that's, I guess I am making a judgment. Forget it.
We are making judgments, but
yeah.
I know. I mean, yeah, if you want to spend $100 grading a custom figure, go for it, man. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money.
Yeah, I wouldn't grade it. I would, like you say, display.
Right. Well, when I say
do
grading,
more display,
the CAS, because I know AFA want to do it.
Yeah, but I could see if you want to display a custom that has different pieces and stuff like that, you go to CAS and you get it, for whatever reason, you get it archived.
Right. And the CAS does something that's called exploding. So what they'll do is, like, if you have a box of something with a bunch of stuff in it, they'll explode it. So you have the box, they'll put the box in the display, and then all the different pieces have their own little other box or own little section. So they'll archive it together. And so you get this display that you can look at the whole thing. And it's a really beautiful display when they do it. And it's done on a good looking piece, to where if you just display a white box, like the Death Star, one of the Death Star Escape or something, it's a white box micro collection. And I had one, I've seen them exploded, and they look great.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I lost it.
I mean, if you guys have an opinion, email us. I mean, we love getting emails from people. We can read them and talk about it. Give some more discussion to it. Because I mean, we don't have all the answers. We're just
talking
a couple of podcasters, and we're
just talking out our rears. I'll change my
pretty
language.
much. Because we needed a topic this week.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to close this out, because right now the reason I'm not using AFA is just because of the turnaround time. I don't want to be without something for 6 months or 7 months, whatever the case may be. I understand that it's getting better, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I 1,000% agree. The piece I have with them right now, I should have had it at the first week of August. So it's a month behind.
Yeah, we're almost mid-September now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, so, and I'm not griping him. Yeah, the turnaround time, I know they're busy. During the pandemic, they had to not lay a lot of people off, but they shut down for a while. And you're trying. I mean, to give them credit, they've cut out a lot of what they're doing. So now I think the only loose things they do right now are Star Wars. They won't grade anything else loose. Everything else has got to be boxed. So I mean, they're trying, but it's still a 6-month wait from stuff from AFA right now. I don't know what CAS is running.
I don't know.
I haven't sent anything to them in a while.
And I think if we were to ask 5 people or 50 people what their opinion is, we'd get 50 different answers.
Oh yeah.
I'm not against the people who decide to grade their items. I'm against the people who are grading things to quickly turn a profit.
Yeah, I can see. I agree
the prices
with that.
Up.
So, yeah, no, I agree. I don't mind grading. I don't like grading my min on card stuff, because I like it in Ian's cases better. It's the same. You get the same feel. As far as if I was going to do like a vinyl cape Jawa or DT Luke or DT anything, something that's very expensive, I'd want to spend the money to have it or buy it graded. I'd rather spend the extra money because you know what you're getting at that point.
Mm-hmm.
In conclusion.
Yeah,
In conclusion,
I think this is going to be a continual concern in the hobby until, because I guess we're like, the hobby just in general worries, or they're just nerdy and care. I don't know. I think it's going to continue to thrive as a concern on the back burner until it's actually happened. And then if it ever did happen, everyone's like, see, they've been doing it this whole time, and there's no evidence to that.
I think people, anytime there's a change, people are concerned.
Yeah.
And that was a big change when, one company buying out another company, especially when they're tied together like that.
And because
where integrity is an issue. There we go.
And we should also say, because we know people who work at AFA, they've reported that there's been no change since. Right? I'm not speaking on
right.
Turn. You're looking at me with a blank face.
No, sorry, I'm just listening to you. But the offices and stuff hadn't changed. Or I don't think there's been a change in the leadership. I know they haven't moved the offices. They're still here in Georgia.
And they haven't been told to do this or that. Everything is business as usual.
Right.
So just trying to be fair.
Right. That's all we're trying to be, is fair and be like, is it, yes, it's a concern, but we also haven't seen it become a concern yet.
That's not my concern with grading apparently.
No, it's not. Your concern is flippers
using that to drive prices up in the hobby. That's my concern, especially new people coming into the hobby and whatever.
Right. And it does. Yeah.
I'm not trying to get too specific.
Right. I got you. I know what you're saying. I've got a few graded pieces. I don't necessarily have an issue with grading. It does look good. If it's done right, it looks good. And the new cases that they're both AFA and CAS are doing, they both look good.
Yeah.
Unless you do that one company and what is it? There's another, never mind. I won't mention them. Unless you use Joe Schmo's grading company. Which there's a Joe Schmo's his name's not Joe Schmo, but there's another grading company, like some dude. It's almost like some dude in his basement grading stuff.
So if you have any opinions on this, let us know. You could send us an email. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com, or just comment on the photo we share on Facebook on Tuesdays to let us know what you think, where you land on this topic. It'd be interesting to see what other people think. But I'm pretty sure it's a concern that everyone has, but there's no evidence that it's happened yet. There might be, or maybe people are like, no concern, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, and I was just to totally change the subject to get it on a better mood. Do you want to go to New York City Comic-Con?
No.
You know who's going to be there?
Is Doc going to be there?
And Michael J. Fox.
Oh, really?
$1,000 for an autograph
from both of them.
Or it's no, I don't think it's I think for both of them it's like $1,000 for a picture and autograph. Or
it's a picture too.
Yeah. So what they do is they do a photo with both of them, or it's something stupid, insane, and I'm just like, why has it got to be New York City?
Because it's New York City.
Because it's New York City Comic-Con, and it's going to be something like freaking Celebration where it's like, hey, bye.
Yeah.
They won't even look up at you.
Yeah, take their photo. Okay, see ya. Bye.
Right.
Thanks for sharing these 3 seconds with me.
At least Doc Brown is, Christopher Lloyd's looking happy in his pictures now. Back when they were first doing that crap, he looked like he could be, could give 2 shits about it. Yeah. And it's like, these people are paying hundreds of dollars to meet you, man. Come on, smile.
Did you see Harrison Ford get a little teary-eyed from Indiana Jones?
I did not see the video, but I heard it.
Yeah, he heard about it. He got really choked up talking about it and how proud he was of the film. And this is his last Indiana Jones. They didn't announce a title, so I'm wondering if it's just called Indiana Jones.
Huh. Well, so which one is Last Crusade, the first one? Which one? How do they go in order? Which is the first Indiana Jones movie?
Which one do you think?
Or would it be Temple of Doom?
Temple of Doom chronologically is the first one. It takes place a year before Raiders of the Lost Ark, but Raiders of the Lost Ark came out first.
Okay.
And then it was Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, Indiana Jones, and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I know Crystal Skull was the last one because everybody hated that one because it had Shia LaBeouf in it. But my mother-in-law put it on one of the Indiana Jones movies. I forgot which one it was, and wow.
What?
Graphics of it were awesome. It was the one with the glasses that his face melts at the end.
Yeah, that's Raiders. That's the first one.
Okay. Where he goes to the bar and everybody, there's a fire and there's a gunfight and there's fire all over the place in the bar. I was like, all right. I guess maybe people look at Star Wars the same way, but I guess I need to look at.
I see them as cousins because they both are brainchildren of George Lucas. And the plane in Raiders of the Lost Ark has OB3PO on the side of it. In the hieroglyphics of the Well of Souls, there are R2D2 and C3PO in the background. In Temple of Doom, it's Club Obi-Wan that they first are inside of. You see that as they fly out. I think there's a couple things in Last Crusade, and then definitely in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones says, I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, man.
So I see them as cousins. And
well, what if Indiana Jones is Han Solo's dreams while he's frozen?
All right. I'm getting tired of that joke. Thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. I'm just going to end it because of that. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. If it's allowed, it helps us out and points people to our show. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We love feedback, especially this episode. We'd really like to know what you think. We'd love to make you part of the show. Sam, I'm looking at you for feedback. You're usually chiming in on that one. Our email is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. Te habla español. You should listen to his podcast, Rock the Force, which is a Spanish podcast. This week, he has the commander of the Puerto Rican 501st on. Doing a whole interview. I just wish I could listen to it because I don't understand Spanish.
I wish I feel Alfonso's a great dude, and he sent it to me. He sent me a link, and I'm like, dude, I wish I could. I don't speak Spanish.
I don't understand it. No sé, lo siento, pero no comprendo. No sé. I don't know. It's been a while.
El Bano. That's all I know.
The bathroom.
Yeah.
¿Dónde está el baño? ¿El baño? ¿Dónde está el baño? Yo necesito lechuga.
No me gusta.
No me gusta. Te amo. Yo soy muy romántico.
And then my daughter can hold freaking conversations in 3 different languages. And I'm just like...
And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. Hasbro re-release VC66 hashtag vote with your wallet. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way. I was at the Saints game.
That was a killer. That was
it was fucking awesome.
Oh my gosh, it was heartbreaking. I mean, I get it from your perspective, but as somebody who lives in Atlanta now, it's like, go Atlanta and you lose by 1 point in the last 3 minutes of the game. It's like, come on.
With a 17-point lead.
Yeah, it's like, how did you guys kill that? You guys look so good.
My buddy kept going, Falcons are gonna Falcon.
Yeah, they fell apart. It was heartbreaking.